to another session of our virtual internships career webinars. My name is Mirta Aguirre. I'm the head of employability, and today we have our career readiness essential series. What does this mean? Well, basically, this series is for you to make you career ready, so you can acquire the knowledge and the skills you need to be ready for your career. And for that, we have a super interesting topic today, which is leveraging your internship for career advancement. And for that, we have our great speaker, Satyam Khandelwal. And first, let's meet our speaker. So you know who we have. So Satyam is a certified career growth coach who has helped more than 15,000 professionals across the globe elevate their career by applying the principles of self-awareness, upskilling, and profile building. He trains students like you and professionals like me on implementing career development concepts with the help of generative AI tools, because Satyam is always up to date. And he shares his knowledge worldwide thanks to his digital influence of over 100,000 followers across Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And he will share his social media network so you can connect with Satyam and you stay connected and you can follow all the amazing job he does. And what will be today's session? Well, basically in today's sessions, you will learn the importance of experiential internships in your career journey, how to build a profile which catches the recruiter's attention, and how to present projects and internships in your resume and LinkedIn profile. So without further ado, thank you, Satyam, for being here. The floor is all yours, and the screen is all yours.
Thank you, Mirta. Thank you so very much. I am really honored and happy as well as excited to be here again. It was almost, I think, 1.5 to 2 years back, if I'm not wrong, that I took or 1.5 years back, I think, that I took the last career readiness session with VI. It was an amazing experience. And I already see a lot of engaging audience, and that is the kind of an interest any coach. Really happy about that. So hi, Abdullah, Editola, Afra, Ahmad, Akhila, Alamin, Alfred, Amori, everybody. Before I start the session, Mirta has been really introducing me. I am a career growth coach. I have been working with students and professionals around the globe to ensure that they take the best career leap with proper principles of profile building, proper principles of upskilling, and also proper influence, which means that whatever you do, are you able to showcase that effectively, right? And a lot of that, like a major part of today's session would be around that. Whatever you do, how to extract the maximum out of it. And the theme would be internships, of course, right? Before I start with the meat of the session, can I just have a confirmation from you all? Can you tell me in the chat box if you can hear me and see me clearly? Please type loud and clear in the chat box. Can you type loud and clear in the chat box, everyone? If you can see me as well as hear me clearly. Loud and clear? Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay. So I'm sure you would have been either students or graduates who would be listening to this session. As of today, let me start by just bringing this fact to you all. And I'm just speaking this out of experience. This is no random quote. I've not read it anywhere. It's just out of the last almost 6 to 7 years of experience that I have, guiding students towards better opportunities. So I work with students and graduates on one side and recruiters on the other. So whatever I tell students is basis the feedback that recruiters give me. Whatever I tell recruiters is basis the feedback students and universities give me, right? But today, for a fresher to get a job, okay, and note this down very specifically. For a fresher to get a job, the crux of his or her resume is an internship. Okay. Today, for a woman or a man to come back after a career gap, for example, let's say somebody has 2, 3, 4 years of work experience, and then because of relocation, health conditions, marriage, maternity, anything, they have a career break of, let's say, 2, 3, 4 years. Now, when they want to come back, the crux of their comeback will be an internship again. For a person who is working on domain A, if he has to shift to domain B, and this domain A and B are just like illustrations, you can fit business analytics to data science, sales to project management, IT to non-IT, non-IT to IT, whatever A and B could be. If they want to have a domain shift, the crux again will be an internship, right? That is the power that internships are holding today in front of the recruiters, in front of the employers, the companies which are seeking skillful people, skillful candidates across the globe, right? This is what we will be discussing today. Now, with organizations like virtual internships, the access to internship has been kind of eased, or let me say, if I can use the word, like internships have been made widely accessible, right? But what can you extract out of that internship is something that still could be a differentiator, and that still is a big differentiator, right? So at a time or at a space in a world where internships are made accessible by organizations like virtual internships, the differentiator would become how do you pursue them, and then what do you extract out of them to your advantage, right? Having said that, I will start with the content of the session. So I'll share my slides here. But before that, I want to lay down quick ground rules. It's an online session. We want to ensure that all of us gain the maximum out of it. Rule number one, time is not our biggest asset here. Whether it's half an hour, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, does not matter much. What matters is your focus. If you're here, be here 100%. If you're not here, be wherever you want to be 100%, right? So if you commit to be here, I want 100% focus from all of you. That's the only thing that can ensure that you gain the maximum value. That's rule number one. If you agree with me and if you commit, please type 100% focus in the chat box. Can you type 100% focus in the chat box? People who commit 100% focus, please type 100% focus. Perfect. Thank you so much. Jahan, Kenny, Nick, Rich, Rachel, Kuzana, Alfred. Thank you so much. Rule number two. This is not a dictation, not a lecture. It's a highly implementable session, which means that whatever I tell you, you can immediately go out and implement, right? But the bridge between listening and implementing is actually noting things down. Sit here with a pen and a notepad. One important point that you end up noting down can change up the entire course of your career. Don't underestimate the importance of noting important things down. Sit here with a pen and a notepad. That's rule number two. Rule number three, you might have a lot of questions while I'm taking the session, but I'm sure 99% of the questions will be addressed by the end of the session already in my slides. So keep your questions with you. We will take up all the questions toward the end of the session for sure. Right? Now, I'm sharing my screen here. Let's start with the content. Mita, just a confirmation if you can see the screen. If people can see my screen, can I just a confirmation? Yes?
Yes, we can.
Yes, perfect. Leveraging your internship for career advancement. Right?
I'm not seeing it in presentation mode.
Okay, 1 second.
Yes.
How about now?
Yes, excellent. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. So leveraging your internship for career advancement. I've written career 2 times by mistake. Maximize the impact of your internship experience by learning how to build a standout career profile and navigate the job market with confidence. I do not read my slide. I'll not do the reading with other slides. Why I'm doing it here in the face slide is because we will follow it word by word. We will learn here how to maximize the impact of your internship experience. We will do it by learning how to build a standout career profile, and we will learn how you can navigate the job market with confidence with the backup of your internship, with the backbone of your internship, right? First, we will understand. So this session is broadly divided into 2 segments, right? 2 categories. First, we will understand how we can extract the maximum value while we are working. So the assumption is that you have got an internship. Either you are on it or you will be starting it very soon, or you would be concluding it. So that is the assumption that I'm coming with. With that assumption, what you can do to maximize the value that you can extract. That is segment number one. What is segment number two? Segment number two is what you can actually do to showcase that experience in your profile so that your profile is like really appealing to any recruiter, right? That these are the two segments that we would cover. Should we start with the first segment? I need a ready in the chat box. Please type ready in the chat box, and then I'll start with the first segment. Type ready in the chat box. Boss, Pranav, friends, Rachel, allow me. Nick, perfect. Thank you so much. I'm starting with segment number one. Number one. When I read the resume of freshers and graduates, most thing that I see in the internship experience is worked on an app, responsible for managing calls, responsible for rectifying errors. This is actually killing your internship experience. If you're presenting your experience like this, then recruiter will assume that you have learned these skill sets only. You have learned being responsible. You have learned being, around people, working with the team. This is not that an is supposed to teach you, or rather, this is not the only thing that internship is supposed to teach you. The first thing that will come out of your internship experience, and I'm not talking about showcasing here, segment one is about actually learning. What are you extracting there? You must develop transferable skill sets. What are transferable skill sets? Skill sets that are applicable across domains. Whether you are a data scientist, whether you are a business analyst, whether you are a developer, whether you are a coder, whether you are a project manager, they are applicable across domains. They are called transferable skills. Some examples: communication, problem solving, adaptability, teamwork, interpersonal skills, possibly leadership skills. Generally, you do not get an internship, but if you can, why not? Stakeholder management, right? These are called transferable skills. Critical thinking, design thinking, right? These are transferable skills. And when I'm talking about learning transferable skills during your internship, I mean that you have to experience things, experience the discomfort of situations that teach you these skills. That does not mean utilizing your internship tenure to actually watch YouTube videos on problem solving. I do not mean that. You can very well watch YouTube videos on problem solving in your free time, or critical thinking in your free time. But what I mean here is use your internship experience to develop these skill sets to a level that you can actually trouble, or maybe, what should I say, push your manager or your mentor to say, give me more problems to solve. Give me different situations to adapt to. Give me situations and projects where I have to talk to people. Actually, I would go to the extent of telling you, you can actually trouble your mentors, whoever is responsible, right? Whoever is in the industry under whom you're doing your internship, tell them you want more. That is taken as a very, very positive skill set. That a guy, the intern, is actually hungry to learn. And this is the first objective that you should have. Build transferable skill sets, right? Let's move further. Beyond transferable skill sets, the second thing that you should extract out of internship is building a professional network. And I'll give you an example here, very, very simple example. I work with a lot of freshers who are in their college, right? They are either required to move places to network, or they are required to attend the networking events, or they are required to, I mean, they are ready to pay anything or make any effort to be in the industrial circle, to be amongst people who are professionals, who are in the industry, right? They're ready to make any effort for that. You, being an intern, are already inside the industry. You already are surrounded by people. Instead of just killing your internship tenure by focusing on your book or your laptop or whatever you are working on, which is good, you must work on. Find out time to as many people as you can. And trust me, what happens, I'll tell you. So I've written 3 things here. There could be many things. You could be creative. You could find out ways to connect with people around you. Networking events, and I'll tell you that what is a differentiator. As a college student, or rather even as a, let's say, as a person who has no link with the industry, if I have to attend an industry event, I mean, either I have to pay a lot or I have to manage a lot of, people or a lot of effort, extra effort. But if you are actually an intern representing an organization, you get an easy entry in all the online and offline networking events because you're representing an organization, because you're representing a company, you're representing a startup. Easy entry to networking events. And when you are in networking events, you're not just networking guys, your own organization people, you're actually networking within the industry. You're creating your future referrals, right? I will pick social media next when it comes to building a professional network. Okay. Why social media? Because it's easy to start. Leverage platforms like LinkedIn, which we'll cover later. Mita was also explaining, and I'll tell you how to leverage platform like LinkedIn to ensure that whatever you are learning during your internship period is showcased well to the target audience. Which means if you're targeting a career in business analyst or business analysis, you should be connected to senior business analyst guys who are hanging out on LinkedIn, right? Leverage that platform. That's a big networking. The mistake that people do, the mistake that professionals do, they actually end up connecting with people only when they need a job, when they desperately need a job. They're on the door of their graduation ceremony. Smart people, while they are interning, introduce themselves as, for example, I'm Satyam Khandelwal from ABC Private Limited. Hello. I am Satyam from Ethicore AI Systems. I am Mirta from Virtual Internship. You get an easy access to this network on LinkedIn as well. They'll be more receptive because they understand in their mind that they are connecting not to a person, but to an organization. And the moment you're out, you cannot represent that organization. The moment you're in your college, you cannot represent an organization. Then the networking would be tough. Use that time to build a professional network using social media. Third, I'll pick informational interviews, which is written in the center. Oh my God, by far the most creative way of building a network. I have seen people rejecting ad requests, on LinkedIn, rejecting requests for a call on LinkedIn. And very busy people, occupied people. I mean, ignoring their DMs on LinkedIn. I have not found a single person who has refused an interview. So if you want to connect with a specific person and you think that that connection could be really good for you, you can create a good impression. That could be a good value add to your network. Approach them with the proposal of an interview. Say that you would want to interview them on XYZ. It could be AI if you're in AI, it could be data science if you're in data science, it could be product management if you're a product manager, aspiring product manager. Talk to a senior guy on LinkedIn, draft the text in a way that they feel, okay, I'm being called for an interview. There is recognition there. There is a human element. We are attracted to recognitions. I've not seen people refusing to this. Use these 3 strategies to build a professional network, which is our point number 2 under segment 1, which is how to extract the maximum value. Transferable skills, professional network, this relevant experience. What is relevant experience? Relevant experience means, I'll tell you, we cover transferable skills, we cover professional development, professional networking. Now, whatever you want to become, you be an aspiring AI officer, you might be an aspiring video editor for that matter, or a social media manager, you could be an aspiring anything. Whatever experience you gain in your internship, which is directly relevant to that particular role, that you need to maximize. A lot of times when you do passive internships, when I say passive internships, it means that you have joined an internship, but you're just waiting for your mentors to give you work, or you're just waiting for your project managers to give you some work. That is passive internship, passive approach towards your internship. It kind of, what should I say? It's a huge opportunity cost for you. I mean, first getting an internship and then kind of, not utilizing it fully by following the passive approach. Be active in your approach. Ask your manager that I'm interested in this field. If your current project could be used to train you on that particular skill, you're the luckiest. But let's say it does not happen. Let's say it does not happen. It happened with me when I was in my MBA. Right? I'll tell you how it helped me. I was really, really interested in digital marketing, really, really interested. But I got a summer placement during my MBA in sales. Generally, a lot of freshers in India get summer internships in sales if they are around marketing and sales. Now, I was trying to justify my sales project as much as possible, but I knew that this is one opportunity that I could work for a big company with a organization in digital marketing, and that was an upcoming field there. I'm talking about 2011. Digital marketing was not so common then. It was an upcoming field then. I went to my project mentor at least 8 times, if I remember it correctly. And at the eighth time, maybe with frustration, he called the digital marketing manager of that company. He says, get this guy to work on something around digital marketing. He should not come back to me again saying that I want a project in digital marketing. You just give him something. And that was the start of my digital marketing career, of my personal branding career that I'm reaping the fruits of today. Right? That is how you need to be. That is how active you need to be when you are gaining relevant experience in your internship. Right? That is what is a point. Like, let me see. Yeah, that segment number one. The closing segment number one here. I would really want you all to, remember this. I'm repeating. Segment number one, how to extract maximum value out of your internships. How do you do that? Number one, transferable skills. Learn as many transferable skills as possible. Number two, build a great professional network with the strategies that I just showcased. Number three, gain relevant domain specific experience. Relevant domain specific experience, right? If this till now was valuable to you, please type value in the chat box. I want you to type value in the chat box. If this was value, if this was of some value to you, type value in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, perfect. Let me move ahead because this is my favorite. I will be talking about showcasing, right? Because most of the times I found people, students and graduates, and I would want to believe that students are sincere. And the lot that we are sitting here with today is also sincere lot, which means that they would work. They would work on gaining transferable skills, gaining domain specific experience. They would also work on their networking bit. So they'll do all the hard work. But even the sincere of the lot, even the sincerest of the lot, they miss out on showcasing the experience rightly. And that is why you would see so many people saying, oh my God, I know so much more than him, but he got the opportunity. Oh my God, my project was so much better than him or her, but then she got the opportunity. Can you relate to what I'm saying? Type relate in the chat box. Can you relate to what I'm saying? Type relate in the chat box. Why does this happen? It's not like the person has not worked. Person could have worked more, less. I mean, who is to say that? We cannot ever define. We can only compare ourselves to ourselves. We cannot compare ourselves to other people when it comes to projects and work, right? Everybody is doing their own work. But we can definitely compare. We can easily find out why others are getting the opportunity and why you are not. Because they are able to showcase their experience, their skill set in a much better way. In a much better way. And I'll tell you with examples how you would do that. Showcasing your achievements. What are the points that come in when you showcase your achievements? And all of this, what I'm explaining now, is from the recruiter's mindset. We are all preparing for a pitch to the recruiter. It could be a few months from now, it could be a few years from now, but at some point of time, you would be pitching to the recruiter, right? When you're pitching to the recruiter, you need to understand his or her mindset. Resume. And the theme would be internship. How would you be presenting your internship? When you are presenting your internship in your resume, remember this word, accomplishments, and remember this word, quantify. If you cannot write what you have accomplished, if you cannot quantify your contributions, then for a recruiter, including me, you have not done justice to your internship. Which means instead of writing under your internship head in resume, worked for ABC Private Limited in the field of social media management from April 1st to July 31st, 2024. Instead of writing this, please write executed social media strategy for ABC Private Limited, helping them increase traction on their Facebook and Instagram account, increasing the overall engagement by 30%. Can you spot the difference? What is better, one or two? Please tell me, one or two, what is different? Oh, sorry, which is better, one or two? Which is better? Two, right? Okay, a very obvious question. We'll come to the question I was about to answer. That whenever I say this, there is always someone asking, what if the project this we worked on had nothing quantifiable, right? And it could happen. It could happen, but it only could happen in your mind. In reality, every work you do either helps the company increase their revenue if you are around sales and marketing, increase their consumer traction, and hear me out, increase their social media presence, enhance their social media presence, or reduce some cost, or increase efficiency, or reduce the manpower, or reduce the project timeline, or work in a much better budget, lesser budget. So quantifiable things could be executed under 90% of the budget, 90% of the allotted budget. It could be saved 10 man hours per day by doing this, or analyze this thing which help the sales team train the sales executives, increasing their efficiency by 20%. It's not like your work is not quantifiable. You have not made an effort to connect your work to the organizational benefit. And you need to invest some time to do that. There is always a connection. Increase revenue, reduce cost, reduce budget, reduce manpower. Think from the angle of, if you would not have done that, if you were not there, how was that handled? Even if you saved the work of two professionals who would have done that, if you were not there, you have saved them a lot of money. You have saved them a lot of manpower there. Let's say you develop. So there was one example that came to me, that I developed a curriculum. I developed a curriculum for an edtech startup. I researched and I researched and I researched. I developed a curriculum. I gave it to them. Right? How would it be quantifiable? How can it be quantified? I thought, okay, how could it be quantified? Way number one, in what time did you build a curriculum which included how many credits? Okay, that is quantification. What kind of manpower did you save for them? If you did it in 1 month, if the allotted time was 3 months, did you do it 2 months? You saved them a timeline. You kind of saved 1 month of work for them, right? Let's say you're not able to think from that angle. You need to go back and ask how many students are learning through that curriculum. And it turned out that 20,000 students in that tech company were using that curriculum that was developed by that intern. 20,000. She just had to ask the organization, what is happening to the product that I had built, to the curriculum that I have build. That was the quantification. It was a huge quantification impacting 20,000 students. Build a curriculum for ABC EdTech Private Limited around AI systems and their applications, which was used by 20,000 students with an NPS score of 8.9. This was the quantification. There is always a quantification. Always a quantification. Now, let me just yes. Apart from quantifying your work on your resume, you also need to craft a compelling portfolio. How would you do that? If you are a tech guy or a tech girl, uh, there is GitHub, if you've heard of that. Now, you might have certain skill sets that you have learned in your internship. It could be development, it could be coding. If you manage social media, then there would be Instagram page, Facebook page, LinkedIn page. Whatever you did, there would be some proof of work there. Share the links. Share the links of that particular work or the output, and then add more links to that. So I advise students, if you have developed an app during your internship, do that. Mention that app if that is allowed to you. Mention the skill sets, accomplishments, and everything. But then use the skills that you have learned during your internship, develop a couple of more apps, and build a portfolio. Include that in your resume. Include that well in your resume. That is what crafting a compelling portfolio means. The third thing to showcase your achievement is practice interviewing. How would you practice? As simple as that. Same logic, accomplishments, quantification. Somebody asked, what have you done during an internship? I developed an app during an internship. I was working for this tech company which wanted to build an app to make the process of signing up and starting the video lessons easier for the audience. I realized that the gap was in XYZ place. We identified the gap. We actually solved the problem. We reduced the user interface, reduced the steps in the user journey by 30%. And that led to course completion rate jumping by 36%. This is what the app that you built did for the audience. Okay. Are you with me? Just a check here. Please type with you in the chat box. Are you with me? Please type with you in the chat box. And are you, noting things down or not? Thank you. Perfect. Thank you so much. Great. This is how you would start showcasing your achievements in the resume. Now, the next part. This is very, very interesting. Okay, this is very, very interesting and very, very critical as well. This particular point. And just listen, right? I'll not read the slides. Listen, you would understand. Just note things down. I have seen resumes with amazing internship. People who followed my advice or people who followed the right thing, quantified their achievements, mentioned it well in the resume, and build a portfolio, shared the links, everything. And then they applied for jobs, right? After they graduate and stuff. And then they're not getting shortlisted. They're not getting calls for interviews. Satyam sir, we did what you said. It's not happening. What's the problem? The problem is that recruiters are not hiring you because you are really good. Recruiters are not hiring you because you're really, really qualified. Recruiters would be hiring you because you bring solution to their problems. Every company has a problem, has a need, has a gap, and that is why they hire. That is why a vacancy comes up. Until and unless your resume does not seem to them like a solution to their problem, they have so many applications coming every day. Now, who would tell me in the chat box, where are these problems listed? Let's say you're trying to apply for a job. And Satyam sir told you that you have to give them the solutions to their problems. But where are their problems? Where would you find their problems? Who would tell me in the chat box? Wow, awesome. Bang on. asthma, shama, novel, elder. All right. The problems are found in the job description. Now, a lot of times what happens, there are certain skill sets that recruiters are specifically looking for, both domain specific and transferable. Highly likely you have all those skill sets. Highly likely that you have made a good resume, but you have not mentioned the same words in your resume. Because you thought communication is a normal skill, why to mention? Because you thought everybody mentions problem solving, why to mention? Because you thought that who mentioned the industry? So an edtech company, you're applying for an edtech company and you're mentioning your skill sets which are more relevant to edtech. You're applying for a domain or an industry which is more around travel and tourism. You mentioned something in your resume around an internship which is exactly or maybe remotely related to travel and tourism. Something. It should seem to the recruiter that it's not that you're looking for any job that comes your way. You're not just desperate enough to do any job. You are looking for this job because it aligns with your career aspirations. You have been preparing yourself for this kind of a role, this kind of a domain, this kind of an industry. So when you write your internships in a much more effective manner, you also need to try and think. It might happen 100% of the times, it might not happen 100% of the times, but there is always some scope of aligning your resume with the target job role. Right? That is how it should happen. Perfect. We'll move ahead. What would you do once you have done all this? Let me see if there is. Yes. So, kind of reiterating, we are in segment 2, which is showcasing. We have covered the resume part, accomplishments quantifiable. We have covered aligning your experience with your career goals, that part as well. Now we would be covering how would you network, how would you navigate the job market with confidence, which means I'll tell you what it means. So I'm resharing my screen because I'm directly taking you to the LinkedIn profile, right? And how things happen there, how recruitment happens, and what are the differentiators.
Yes, excellent. I'm enjoying this session very much, Satyam, because you're giving me very concrete tips on what I can do to showcase my experience, even though I'm thinking that maybe I should also apply your tips.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you can follow him. He will share with us his social media account, so you can follow Satyam after the session, because he shares all these tips
100%.
on Instagram and other social media. So stay until the end, and he will share this information.
I'll share the link with you all towards the end of the session. And we are almost around conclusion now. So this is what happens. I'll just tell you this is what happens when some recruiter looks out for a job, right? There are different cases, there are different scenarios. Scenario number 1, that your resume reached to the recruiter, right? Your resume, so let's say Satyam Khandelwal's resume reached the recruiter. They kind of liked it because he has followed all the right tips, all the right methods, right? Before making a final decision to call him for the interview, one person, whether it would be the business leader or the HR or the recruiter himself, they will type on the search bar this name. Why? Because somebody is applying. Let's see what he does. Let's see what kind of things he's engaged in. Okay, this seems to be his profile. Let's see. Now it could be this. Let's say somebody hiring a career coach. That does not happen much in the industry because we work as freelancers. But let's say replace this with any domain. It could have been a business analyst. It could have been a data scientist. It could have been a developer, a low-code, no-code developer, or a AI expert. It could be anything. If your profile looks like this, which means quickly, the banner image exactly showcasing what you do, what you stand for. A profile picture which is receptive, smiling, front face, a headline. What is called a headline? This is called a headline. Used well about the background. I have written these things. You could have written, let's say, Python, Java, C++, or you could have written Power BI, W, if you're a business analyst, or you could have written R, anything that represents the skill sets in your domain. Whatever you are an expert in, write it here. Use breakers. Then you come down, the recruiters is coming down, right? They will just check what is happening here. Okay, there is an about section, what this guy has to say about himself or herself. Talking in first person, who I am, what I do, what I stand for. So for you guys, even if this is shorter, does not matter. You talk more about what you have learned during your internship. You talk about your skill sets, what you have, and you talk about your career aspirations. What kind of career are you targeting? Talk in the first person, right? And then, of course, the best thing that you could do, the best thing as fresh graduates or as early stage working professionals is to actually create content on LinkedIn around your domain, around the domain that you want to target. It could be the best possible thing. Again, for the same reason that if I come down and I see all this and an impression is being created, if I see this thing here, right? Okay, there is some content that this guy is putting out in the market. Let's see what he talks about. I talk about career growth. I talk about interviews. I talk about resume. You could talk about maybe again project management, your experience of internship. How did you learn problem solving? How did you learn critical thinking? Did you learn building an app? All of these things. This is how you should utilize this space which is available to you. Not saying that I'm a brand ambassador for LinkedIn. It's not like that. There's no official collaboration. But the thing is that whoever we are targeting, whoever we are trying to impress, luckily or unluckily, if they are hanging out at one place today, they are hanging out on LinkedIn. I mean, people could be on Instagram, people could be on Snapchat, people could be on Facebook, people could be on other portals as well. But if they are actually professionally hanging out, if they're actually professionally thinking of something at a portal, if they want to connect professionally at a particular portal, that's LinkedIn. Use it, at least build your profile that way. That if somebody visits this, they are like happy. Okay, this guy, let's call this guy for the interview at least. And then we'll see what happens. That is the kind of thing you should build. That is what I wanted to share with you all today. If you found this useful, please type useful in the chat box, and then we open the round for Q&A. If Mirta, that's the way we go ahead. Otherwise, whichever way we are fine.
Amazing, Satyam. I was sharing with the students because I think one thing I want to ask the audience, right? I like Satyam's style because he asks you guys questions. Because what you need to understand is like you are the only person who can take your career forward. So I like to ask the audience, tell me please one takeaway, one very interesting idea that Satyam shared with you that you will start implementing so you can really start moving your career forward. Because Satyam just shared so many interesting things. I want to know, guys, tell me one thing that you will do after this webinar to make sure that you are making the next professional step. Okay, I like this. I'm seeing so many great things. Look, Satyam, everything they learned thanks to this webinar. They will contact professional while on our internship. They will put transferable skills in the resume.
Yes.
They go so quickly that I can't read them. Include all the quantifiable skills on the resume.
Too much. Still, you know,
Create content based on my career, active approach. Amazing, guys. I'm seeing so many things, right? Okay, so Satyam, do you want to share your social media information
Yes.
so everyone can stay in touch
Yes,
and
right
can
away.
keep on learning? And guys, we're gonna share a survey with you. Please share your rating. I know you all loved Satyam's session, so please give us 5 stars. So Satyam is very happy, and I'm very happy because this is the kind of content we want to bring to you. And there in our survey, you can share your ideas about what topics you like for us to explore in our webinars. And remember that as part of your program, you have 2 coaching calls. Coaching calls are basically a conversation with a career coach, with someone experienced in career mentoring, who can answer your questions, who can give you advice. So when you receive this invitation, please make sure to book your call and come to the session with questions, right? Reflect a little bit. I suggest that you reflect on everything that Satyam has shared today and really said, okay, where am I with all these? Maybe I can ask also my coach, how should I do to keep on engaging with my host company or to reach more people on LinkedIn? So be prepared and take advantage of our coaching call, and please share your feedback on our survey. So do we have Satyam's information?
I'm just putting it on the chat box right away.
Perfect.
So now it is
Yes.
in the chat box.
Perfect.
I would want people to like refrain from putting anything in the chat box for a while so that everybody sees the link.
هلا عليكم السلام كيف حالك؟
Perfect.
أخبارك طيبة؟ كيف
Perfect.
التدريب؟
And I will share anyway this with you guys. I'm gonna send
عبد العزيز
an email.
ما
So
ما
if you
شفتي؟
can't complete our survey now, I will send a follow up email with
طلت عليه ما
everything.
شكله ما
Okay, Satyam, this has been a
إيه كلها
super
انضمرت بس عشان
amazing
يعلمنا
session.
اليوم.
Thank you so much for having been with us and sharing such amazing content. I think our audience really liked it, right? Did you like it? So, shall we share our appreciation for Satyam in our chat? I really enjoyed this session. And thank you so much, Satyam, for taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mita. That's great. I mean, all the best to you guys. Do well in your internship and present yourself even better. And I'll find opportunities to reconnect with you. LinkedIn is the best way. You can just hit the follow button. You will keep finding ways to improve your profile through my LinkedIn content. All the best. See you. Bye bye.
And bye, everyone. Remember, we're gonna send you an email for our next session. Stay tuned. Participate in our next session. Remember, after you join 3 times, you will receive a certificate that you can showcase on your LinkedIn profile. And this is what we wanna do. So I send you a lot of kisses. Have a great day, wherever you are in the world, and see you again next time. Bye. Have a wonderful day.